In Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 1, one of the more emotional tensions surrounding Mandy McAllister comes from how her actions and comments begin to affect not just her reputation, but also her relationship with Georgie Cooper and his deeply religious family. What starts as a sarcastic remark about God quickly turns into a much bigger issue, one that puts Mandy's place within the Cooper family under real pressure. Mandy has always been portrayed as someone who speaks her mind. She's confident, outspoken, and often uses humor or sarcasm to deal with uncomfortable situations. That personality is part of what makes her character entertaining, but it can also create friction when she's around people who see certain topics as sacred. In the Cooper household, faith is one of those topics that isn't treated lightly. For Mary Cooper in particular, faith is not just a belief. It's a guiding principle for how she lives her life and raises her family. Mary has always tried to maintain a household built on Christian values, and she expects those values to be respected by the people who become part of the family. So when Mandy makes a comment that sounds like she's mocking God, Mary sees it as more than just a bad joke. From Mary's perspective, the issue isn't only about the words Mandy used. It's about respect. Mary believes that if Mandy is going to be part of the Cooper family, she should understand and respect the importance of faith in their lives. That's why the reaction from Mary isn't simply annoyance, it's deep disappointment. And that disappointment creates tension that begins to affect Mandy's marriage to Georgie. For Georgie Cooper, the situation becomes extremely complicated. Georgie loves Mandy and wants their marriage to work, but he also grew up with his mother's beliefs. He understands why Mary feels offended, and he knows how important religion is to his family. At the same time, he knows Mandy didn't necessarily mean to cause such a serious problem. This puts Georgie in a difficult position. He finds himself caught between defending his wife and trying to keep peace within his family. Moments like this test the strength of Georgie and Mandy's relationship because they highlight how different their backgrounds and worldviews can be. Another layer of tension comes from how the community might react. The Cooper family lives in a place where church and religion are central parts of daily life. When someone appears to disrespect those beliefs, it can quickly become a social issue. Mandy's comment doesn't just stay within the walls of the house. It threatens to affect how people around them view the family. That pressure makes the stakes feel even higher for the marriage. Mandy begins to realize that what she thought was just sarcasm may actually have serious consequences. It forces her to confront the possibility that her words could damage her relationship with Georgie's family and potentially create lasting conflict in her marriage. At the same time, the show doesn't portray Mandy as a villain. Instead, it shows how cultural and personal differences can lead to misunderstandings. Mandy comes from a different background where humor and blunt honesty are more common, while the Cooper family approaches faith with deep reverence. When those two perspectives collide, conflict becomes almost inevitable. What makes the storyline compelling is that it explores how marriages often involve learning to navigate those differences. Mandy has to decide whether she's willing to be more careful with her words around Georgie's family, while Georgie has to figure out how to support his wife without completely dismissing his family's values. The tension doesn't necessarily mean the marriage is doomed, but it does highlight how fragile relationships can be when deeply held beliefs are involved. Respect, communication, and compromise become essential if Georgie and Mandy want their relationship to survive moments like this. In the end, the conflict surrounding Mandy's comment about God becomes less about the joke itself and more about what it represents. It forces everyone involved, Mandy, Georgie, and Mary, to confront their expectations of each other and what it really means to be part of the same family. And in a show like Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, those emotional family conflicts are exactly what keep the story grounded and relatable, even when the situation starts with something as simple as a joke that went too far.